Okay, so this is Grammar Unit 2, Exercise 11, Sentences 1 and 2. So as you mentioned in class, we're taking active voice sentences, so where the subject, verb, and direct object are in sort of that expected order, and we're making them passive voice. So we're going to switch the subject and direct object. We're going to make a little change to the verb, and do a little bit of moving kind of in our sentence. This is this sort of the process that we talked about in class. The first thing that we mentioned is like sort of step 0 is if you're still struggling with those sentence patterns, you may want to chart out your sentence just so you sort of know what the subject and the direct object are. You know where those noun phrases are. You know if a prepositional phrase is adjectival or adverbial. If you can kind of keep that stuff in your head, great. But for the purposes of this introductory sort of review, I'm going to chart these out just so we sort of see that very clearly. Once you've found all that stuff, then you want to write out all the parts of the active voice verb string. So remember, this is going from right to left if you're going to use the chart. Start with the main verb, whatever the last thing in the verb string is, work your way left. If it's there, fill it into the chart, right? Be and have, you just copy down. Modal auxiliary, write in the present tense form. Main verb is in the base form. You always have past, you always have present. If you don't have it, just kind of cross it out. Okay, so you write out all forms of the main verb, add be plus en and rewrite the main verb. So you're going to cross it out. Once you've written out that verb string, add be plus en and rewrite it. And then you'll do some switching. Okay. All right, so let's do one as an example. And if you have adjectival or adverbial prepositional phrases, adjectival moves, adverbial don't. Right, object, subject, complements, subject, complements, all that kind of stuff. None of that's going to sort of change. You won't really have a subject complement. Sorry about that. Adverbs, though, that'll stay. And watch out for pronouns. We won't have any of those in 1 or 2, though. We'll have those a little bit later on. So my roommate wrote the lead article in today's Collegian. So what do we have in our sentence, right? We have wrote, which is our verb. We've got this in prepositional phrase, which tells us which lead article. So that's adjectival. So when we move this article to the beginning, because that's our direct object, in today's Collegian, we'll move with it. Okay. So my roommate, that noun phrase is the subject, the lead article, right? Who or what was written, that's our direct object. So let's write out our verb string. So we have wrote, which our main verb is to write. Remember, the main verb goes in its base form. Excuse me. We don't have a form of be. We don't have a form of have. We don't have a modal auxiliary. And wrote is in past tense. Okay, so that should be our verb string. So once we've written that out, past plus write, to figure out our passive voice verb, we're going to cross out that main verb, add be, add en, and then rewrite that main verb. If you want to do a caret thing, that's fine. I just like to see it linearly, so when I combine it from left to right, past gets combined with be, en gets combined with right. It makes it a little easier for me to see it if like the in parentheses is over the caret somewhere. It just makes it a little harder. But as long as you get the sentence correct and everything's in the right order, you can skip some of these steps. All right. But get it all right. So we crossed out that main verb, add be plus en, rewrite it. So now we're going to move the direct object to the subject spot. And since there's no introductory adverbial phrases or adverbs, we can sort of start our sentence with that direct object. So the lead article in today's Collegian So I'm going to underline Collegian because it's italicized in that sentence up there, but I can't italicize it since I'm handwriting it. So the lead article in today's Collegian, so direct object goes in the subject spot. Then we put our transformed verb in. So article is singular. So past tense of be, we want the singular. Article was. So watch out for that, because if it's, it can be sort of a singular subject, but a plural direct object, then you might have to do a little bit of tweaking so your subject and your verb agree in number. So article was, and then en of right is written. Then you replace the moved object with by, and the original active voice sentence is subject. So by, and the original subject was my roommate. Okay? All right, let's take a look at number 2. Heavy thunderstorms have knocked down power lines in 3 counties. So we have our verb here, and there's a little particle. So that particle at the end, that little prepositional phrase, you don't really have to do anything with it except make sure it shows up in your final sentence. You just stick it on the end of your transformed verb. So that's our verb. In 3 counties tells us which power lines, so that'll move. Heavy thunderstorms is noun phrase 1. Power lines is different than the thunderstorms. That's noun phrase 2. So we've got another sort of simple subject, direct object kind of sentence. So our verb, right, we write down our verb string, going from right to left. So I put particles. I tend to put them down here at the end, just so I remember not to forget about them. But they're really sort of just extra, those little prepositions. So knocked is sort of the main verb. So knock, to knock. Take care of that. Then we have, we don't have a form of be, but we do have a form of have, so we'll copy down have and that en ending. We don't have a modal. Have is in the present tense. Remember, the tense always comes from the first thing, so even though knocked looks past, tense is determined by the first word in that verb string. So our verb string is present tense of have plus the en of knock. Don't forget to add down. So we will add, we'll cross that out, add be plus en, and then rewrite knock. And then we'll tag down on the end there. So put that little guy in parentheses so I don't forget about him. So when we go from left to right, it's present tense of have, en of be, and en of knock. Okay. All right, so our direct object is power lines in 3 counties. So power lines in 3 counties. So power lines is plural, and so have is plural. So have, then en of knock is knocked. Then we add our down in. And then we put by plus the subject where the direct object was, by heavy thunderstorms. All right, so in class we'll do 3, 4, and 5, and then on the back, 6 through 10 will sort of be your independent practice.